I am back again, third time today, but things just keep coming up as I'm working on my demand letters for my 1983 case. The second one I'll be filing as a pro se litigant. But as I'm delving in, because I want to get information also like on like who's in the corporations of these nonprofits, because they're all nonprofits. And if people don't know what DCF contractors are, is basically DCF goes in, does the investigation, and then they hire out to these nonprofits. It's a multi-billion dollar business, but these are not considered nonprofits. So, I want to also get names of like who's in the corporate suite, because these people make policy and then they don't implement the policy, and they allow them to break policy and falsify records and put children in dangerous homes, because the nonprofits are the ones that do the case management and the adoption. All right, understand that. So so really DCF pulls the children out of the home or set up the case plans, but then everything else is done by these nonprofits. We need to end that really quick. We really need to end that, because they're, I don't know why they're allowed to be a nonprofit, but all these corporate entities that own prisons are allowed to be private and bank money. That's what they do. Um, so I know of three that I have dealt with uh in with DCF in the 20 years I went there, but I think there's many, many more. And I don't know how many. Something I'll probably go through over time. But the ones I've dealt with is Camelot, uh, the Ever Foreboding Children's Home Society, which was the name of Georgia Tan. And one day I'll do a whole episode. I've got books on her and everything about Georgia Tan. Um, and then Lutheran Services. They're all donation based and paid by DCF. I'm sure it's not cheap. But I'm going to read some information about these agencies. Give you a little perspective. We're going to talk about history of the Camelot timeline. Camelot Community Care was founded in 1999, but our history goes back much further. Prior to 1999, the company operated as Camelot Care Centers under a different corporate structure and leadership. When telling the history of Camelot, the timeline of both companies is combined. For over 50 years, Camelot has been providing quality services. Quality services? Yo, losers! My grandson's been in a group home for how long? 3 years? 4 years? 5 years? To children and families, as we look to achieve our mission of helping children realize their full potential, let me tell you, a day will come, just like it did for the children in Australia, just like it did for orphan trains, just like it did for Georgia Tan. The day will come when the criminal aspect of what you all are doing comes out, and you will face the music. And I hope to live to see it. I hope I live to see it. 1973 to 1999. And if you guys seen any of my videos, it's the late 90s, early aughts is when I basically said it started really changing for what I could see. Now, I'm sure things changed in different states and different timelines, so where people knew we could turn this into a multi-billion dollar business. And let me tell you this, there are lobbyists for adoption and all the services that come with it and all the agencies that come with it. There are lobbyists. Why? Because it's making a lot of people money. And I mean, whether you want to have an abortion or not, I kept all my children. I never had an abortion, and that's not for me to decide. But it has to make you wonder, why do they want all these children if the mothers don't want them for adoption? Because I don't know what I hear. For every there's like one child for every 40 parents that want to adopt, or individuals. A lot of people do it single, like especially like the wealthy people do that. A lot of them adopt them as single people. So I can see why this kind of shifted changes in 1999, because that's when things started getting like, because I think AFSA was 1997. So once that law came out, which needs to be repealed, it needs to go away, because that's really screwing everything up. All right. Hamlet Centers was founded by Dr. James Spicer, providing residential treatment services in Illinois and later expanding to Tennessee and Florida. What, when he became a snowbird? You still want to keep making money while he was a snowbird? The company was named Camelot as a tribute to the possibility of human achievement. I don't think personal corruption is an achievement. Do you? After 25 years of building Camelot Care Centers to become a quality national provider. 3 states. Dr. Spicer transitioned into retirement, later selling the company to a new ownership group based in Nashville, Tennessee. Selling it. You can sell nonprofits. I mean, I guess that's news to me that you could sell a nonprofit. 1999, to better meet the needs of the communities we serve, Camelot Community Care is formed as a nonprofit organization in the state of Florida and assumes the Florida programs formerly provided by Camelot Care Centers. Subsequent to assuming Camelot Care Center's operations in Florida, Camelot Community took over services in Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio from Camelot Care Centers. 2000. After just 1 year of operations, Camelot Community Care achieves $4.2 million in total funding. That was 26 years ago. 4.2 million. That's just one nonprofit agency. 2001, Camelot's board of directors makes a strategic decision to become a leader in Florida's new child welfare community-based care initiative, because they started making plans on how to bilk the taxpayers. Mm-hmm. Yep. 2003, Camelot Community Care is awarded a contract to be the lead agency for child welfare services in Charlotte, Lee, Henry, Glade, and Collier counties, Florida. This contract was worth $18 million and is the largest contract in the company's history. That should be sad, not like, kudos to us, we just secured $18 million to steal children from their loving families and give them to people who's going to stick them in cages, house them outside, house them in garages, feed them dog food, feed them mush, beat them, kill them. Yes! These people can just sit there and keep bragging on it. Nothing, because nothing ever happens to them. Who gets in trouble? The person that does the killing, the person that does the essaying. They're the ones that get in trouble, but the people that knew they were in this abusive home and didn't care, saw the signs and didn't care. And if they can't see the signs, then you know what? Go get a friggin' degree so you can see the signs. A high school diploma is not enough to work with these children with behavioral issues. No, no, no. 2004, Camelot Community expands its child welfare programs by being awarded case management contracts in 3 areas of Florida: Hillsborough County, Marion County, and the Florida Panhandle. 2005, Camelot's committed to quality and excellence. is recognized through becoming accredited by the Council of Accreditation, COA. Camelot's Hillsborough County Adoption Program finalized over 300 adoptions, the highest amount ever recorded in the county. Right, right. Because that's what that whole act was about that the Clintons put through. Turn over quick to turn over quick adoptions. Come on, if you think our presidents and our government is here to help you, no, they're not. No, they're not. And some of the core politicians have told you they're not. Run when you say, we're here to help you. Camelot Community Care began providing foster care services in Texas. 2006, Camelot Community Care begins providing juvenile justice services after being awarded several contracts to provide behavioral health services in juvenile detention centers throughout the Tampa Bay area. Kids for cash? What? What? No, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. And that's another thing I want to do because I know there's ways to get money through juvenile justice. That's going to be another thing that I'm going to sue on. Children stuck in juvenile detention centers because somebody's getting money for it. I didn't even read all this. This is kind of like I'm reading this. Camelot finals over 306 adoptions in Hillsborough County, Florida. 2007, Camelot's Hillsborough County Adoptions Program finalizes over 400 adoptions. You pieces of garbage. 2008, as part of initiative to improve the financial condition of Camelot Community Care, the board of directors authorizes the sale of the company's assets in Illinois and Indiana, and as a result of the sale, the company eliminates all long-term debt and improves its cash position. In 2009, Camelot Community Care is reaccredited by the Council on Accreditation. Camelot Community expands its child welfare programs into the Gainesville, Florida region. Camelot Community Care opens its first programs in Jacksonville, Florida. Camelot Community Care opens its first partial hospitalization program in Cincinnati, Ohio. Anyways, to bilk the taxpayers. Money, money, money. And I would like to see, like, do people even go over their books, see where all their money goes? 2015, like, how much money are these nonprofits, like, the directors making? The coup. And I'm going to go over another thing. I'm going to tell you how my daughter was railroaded through DCF and the police department and everything like that. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how the police officer that investigated her near murder by her boyfriend who drugged her, drank with, I think, meth, and told her it was aspirin or codeine or aspirin or codeine or something. I don't remember what it was. It was 10 years ago. The police officer that did the investigation sold my daughter down the river. All he was a cop, just a beat cop. Somehow, during this whole case, parlayed himself into I think, a coup of a big, huge mental health services in Bay County. And I will show the proof of that. I will show when I learn how to do this dang thing. I will show the proof. How does someone who has no experience in mental health and has no degrees in business parlay himself into a sweet position? It's corruption. And I will show it. I will show all the corruption. And I hope people stop believing me and start saying, we have to stand up. People, this is Florida. If you want to know why your housing market is about to crash, it's corruption. It's through and through. It's not a secret. People just want to, like, this through their life. I just want to work. I just want to have a vacation. I just want to put food on the table. I don't care what's going on around me. You will when you are all drowning rats fleeing the state of Florida. And you old folks have to go back to the snowy weather. 2015, Camelot Community Care is reaccredited by the Council on Accreditation. 2017, Camelot Community Care begins providing juvenile justice services in Virginia. Oh, nice. I'm not that far from there. I am going to, because there's corruption. People are taking this money somewhere. Camelot Community Care begins providing mental health services in the juvenile justice circuits throughout Florida. This is not like we're trying to help the community better. No, they're trying to figure out more way they can steal the taxpayers' dollars. That's it. And if you think anything else, take your blindfolds off. 2020, Camelot Community Care begins providing medical services in the juvenile justice circuits throughout Florida. And you know what? The more they're taking, the more it's fraud. The more government money you get, the more it's fraud, people. Medicare, Medicaid, all that, it's all fraud. It's all fraud. Camelot Community Care begins providing functional family therapy in Hillsborough, Pinellas, and Pasco counties. 2023, celebrating 50 years. Camelot Community Care celebrates over 50 years of bringing families together for a bright future. Camelot Community Care continues to serve over 9,000 children and families every day with our highly committed and dedicated staff of over 11,000 professionals who serve as leaders in their field. And you're not leaders in your field. You're not. You're not. Most of you have just a high school diploma. You're not a leader in your field. You just know how to lie really well because you have no soul. You're a sociopath. You hear me? You'll never feel sad. You never feel sorry for what you do to these children because you don't have a soul to feel bad. You don't have that. Camelot Community Care aspires to continue making a difference in the lives of the children and families we serve to provide the resources needing to thrive. I will bet you, I will guarantee you, the only people that are happy are the ones that are making money. Not the families you destroyed, not the children you destroyed. Yeah, even if you do place them in a good adoptive home, they still want their family that they were born to. Children's Home Society. Raise your voice or lend a hand to shape the future of your community. 11 million raised through legislative advocacy efforts. Lobbyists. Lobbyists are getting money. Lutheran services. They started off as to address Vietnamese and Cuban refugee crises. So can you tell me how they ended up in the 90s becoming case management services in Lee and Pinellas counties to work with the welfare system? 1990, 1992. See, people were starting to know that the laws were changing to make it easier to adopt children. You know, the 50 out of 22 thing, and we'll go over that another day. Well, another day we'll discuss that whole Adoption Safe Families Act. Adoption Safe Families Act, right? ASFA of I believe it's 1997. And we'll go over that and we'll discuss that and we'll tell you. But I'm telling you right now, these nonprofits, they're banking money, and it's probably going to the boards of directors with probably really high salaries, you know, probably in the 200,000-300,000 a year, right? And I wouldn't even doubt if there weren't bonuses for like all of these case managers that keep families apart, adopt out children. There are bonuses when children are adopted. They will lie and they will say there aren't, but there are. There are bonuses. There are bonuses to parents. Most children eventually end up being made special needs, or a good portion of them are. Special needs children always bring in more money. And in a lot of instances, people adopt because they get stipends for the rest of the kids. childhood till they're 18, 21, something like that. Um, so like let's get rid of these. We've got to get rid of these all these corporations that do the work for government. Why can't the government have these jobs? It's all coming out of taxpayer money. Why do we have to have non-profits do it? I mean, back in the day when I was involved with DCF, there was absolutely not a single contractor throughout the DCF agency. Every single person I worked with, every case manager, every investigator, everything, all worked for DCF. They all worked for DCF, but somewhere it started happening in the late 1990s and early 2000s where they all started figuring out how to make nonprofits. If I went back to Massachusetts 25 years later and lived there, I'd probably see that no more case management is done. And I will tell you, all of my DCF workers, every single one of them had some license in social work. Every one of them. Every single one of them that walked through my door had a degree. They weren't a high school diploma loser. And I'm not saying high school diploma is a loser. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to really say that. But you have a lot of losers who can't do anything but steal children from good homes. And these people, to me, these set of people are are losers. As people who work for DCF or not, or these contractors, and everyone, and it's bilking so much of our money, billions and billions and billions of dollars a year. I mean, if you just think about it, go into any family court, right? Just sit down. A lot of them are open, and just watch it. Just watch. How many DCF related people are just sitting there on the clock? Just sitting there on the clock, waiting for the case to be called. Because most of us that know court, there's usually the morning group and then there's the afternoon group, right? You go through the morning group, they have lunch, and then they bring a whole new set of cases in the afternoon group. And so, yeah, so generally they're sitting there, from when they first get in there about 8 a.m. until like noon. So just 4 hours just sitting there. And if they have cases all day in the afternoon, more families, you know, they just spend days and days and days and days just sitting in court, just sitting in court, not going to homes, not nothing. These people are not overworked and underpaid. You're not if you're sitting your butt on a court pew that looks like a church pew. You're not. You're not. You're just sitting there destroying lives. Which I think, yeah, I think it's a power play too for a lot of these people. I really do. Anyhow, um, yeah, we need to really talk about changing laws. We need to talk about criteria, and we need to talk about just getting rid of all these contractors. I mean, it's a nonprofit, so like, why can't this distribution be a state employee getting state benefits run by state employees, not CFOs and CEOs and COOs, right? Why can't it just all be written right out of the department? I mean, Medicaid and most of the time Medicaid and welfare, food stamps, they all come out of the same office. They all deal with the same families in a lot of instances. So let's like change this mess. I think it should go from civil to criminal. And I think it should become like parents in needs of services and they get a contract and, then they go to court. I think it should be all corporate. If you have it more of like you will be punished and fined if you can't take care of your children. But and then you can do diversion programs like you do with people who pull in with DUI or domestic violence. Most of it's diversion programs. You put the parents in a diversion program. Maybe that means they need to be like all housed together in a safe house, like a battered woman shelter. And they're taught there every day. Have them go to classes, have them go to work, help them get cars, help them get housing, help them get Medicare, help them get whatever. Teach them how to parent on a daily basis with their children there. There's just so many ways we can fix this and take out the middleman, those nonprofits. Because I don't believe they're nonprofits, not for even for a minute. They're getting state, federal, and then multiple donations into them. They all, if you look them all up, they all have a donation page or a donation button. How to donate. I don't know. Do you know of any foster kids that are doing like really well? What isn't there like a rumor that most of them when they leave foster care, home to home to home to home to home to home to home, and foster parents are so great. Why can't they keep the children just for one stay and then adopt them? Why are children going? Foster parents are such cream of the crop of parents. Why are children going home to home to home to home to home? Because they can't handle these type children? What? What is the problem? Because all children are going to have behavior problems, one way or another, because you've destroyed their life. I mean, you can't even destroy an adult's life and have them like walk out of it unscathed, right? I mean, what is it like people say are like major stressors for adults? Like financial problems, moving, changing jobs, moving for the military. You know what I mean? If families have and adults have stressors, why can't children when you take them away from the bosom that they've known for all their life, right? I don't think any child ever comes out unscathed, even if Mother Teresa was their adoptive parent, which most of them are closer to Hannibal Lecter than Mother Teresa. Anyways, I'm gonna go. I know I keep bothering you all, but things that just keep coming up as I'm doing this, and and I know I look a mess. I'm haunting you guys. You guys gonna have nightmares after you watch my videos. But these are things that need to be talked about. But anyways, I'm gonna go. This will probably be the last time you see me all today. It's like almost 4 o'clock in the evening, afternoon, late afternoon, evening, whatever you want to call it. Um, but like, listen, if you have questions, if you need help, something you want me to talk about, something you don't know about, I'll discuss it here and I'll tell you what my experience is, and I'll maybe do a little research on it like I did on these. But come on. $4 million 25 years ago? They're taking in billions now. I'd like to know just how much money comes because I think they're lying about that. I think they lie about everything. And we don't call them to action. We don't call them to prove anything ever. We just don't. We just trust our government. We have to stop trusting our government. That's the problem. Do we have to wait till we're like in um a dystopia before we open our eyes? Because that's what we're heading for, right? I think so, probably. Because we don't open our eyes. 10% of us fight for rights. Like 10% of us. The other 90% just like go on life like I'm just going to take it. I'm just going to take the abuse. Why? Why do you take the violation of your rights? Why do you take people screwing you over? Why? Why? Stand up and fight for yourself, people. Fight for yourself. You deserve it. You deserve every happiness as of anyone else, right? I deserve my grandchildren. I mean, pretty sure when I was carrying my daughter and growing her in my belly, I created those eggs of my grandchildren. Shouldn't I have a little bit of like rights? a little bit. Or any other rights. I think I should have them. Okay. I'm just taking too much people's time. I just come on up to so much stuff like doing some investigation and I'm like, I forgot about all these emails. I forgot about gals and CASA and it's just something I don't want to forget about and I wanted to just talk about all these issues today. All right, well this one was shorter than the other two I did today, just a little bit. I hope you enjoy my videos. Of course, they're just for information, educational, or entertainment purposes. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a pro se litigant who's been and a family advocate for 30 years to keep families together because it's what keeps society really in a better, healthier stance is when families aren't tore apart. Because we know foster care children, most of them don't go to college, a lot of them don't graduate, and a lot of them are incarcerated. Why? Why? Why should this precious little baby that I loved, that had a heart of gold, end up homeless when he's kicked out or incarcerated because he doesn't know what to do? And the fact that these judges are being so heartless. Mm-mm-mm. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be appealing. And if I don't win in the first DCA, I've already had go rounds with them. I will sue those judges will be put in my 1983 and I will just show the corruption because that's what it is. When they look at case law, at precedent, you have to go by it. But they don't. They look the other way. They do a PCA to get out of it. I'll talk about that all later. I'll show it all later. But anyways, I'm going to go. You guys have a great afternoon. And like I said, if you like what I have to say, follow me. I will always bring out tidbits of stuff I know, of stuff I've gone through over 30 years of dealing with this crap. There's some people that didn't even know DCF was so evil and just took their kids and they don't even know what to do. They're like beside themselves and they're worrying every night. They probably don't even sleep at night. Like me personally, all my kids are grown, but I can just imagine like if like today my kids were pulled out of my house. And if I went to bed tonight, I wouldn't sleep because I'd be like worrying that. So I would worry that there's a cop knocking on my door telling my child's dead. However, we know DCF doesn't tell you all right away. You'll find out weeks later, right? That's how, because they got to figure out a way to hide everything. And that's what they do. They hide everything. That's all illegal. That's all fraud. Why are we allowing this? Oh, for gosh sakes. Anyways, you guys have a great weekend. I will talk to you later. Maybe next week. Bye.